If you were asked what is the one thing that's responsible for all your accomplishments in life, all the success you've had, all the milestones you've hit, what would you say? For most people, they would attribute their success to their hard work, discipline, focus. But for those who have transcended ordinary levels of achievement, they will tell you that everything starts with your mind, more specifically, your thinking. Your ability to think well determines how well you will perform, how much you can achieve, and how happy you are. So, if your mind is constantly plagued by limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts, it's going to hold you back no matter how much effort you put in. And this is something that most people don't realize until it's too late. In this light, we're going to discuss 4 ways to break the cycle of negative thinking. Before we start, we would like to thank you for your support. It truly means a lot to us. And now let's begin. No one understands how your brain works. Imagine this. You see a bear charging towards you. In that split second, your brain processes an incredible amount of information. It assesses the threat level, calculates the potential damage, and determines the best course of action. Then you react, perhaps by running away or freezing in fear. This process happens automatically without any conscious effort on your part. Your brain is always working in the background, constantly processing information and making decisions for you. It's always scanning your environment for potential threats, and your brain has been wired to pay more attention to negative things. Because our ancestors had to be aware of the dangers around them to survive. The problem is that this survival mechanism is still present today, and it causes you to fixate on negative thoughts. You might not even realize that your brain is doing this because it's an automatic process. But once you become aware of it, you can start to take control over your thoughts. There are many techniques out there that can help you to do this, such as mindfulness meditation, cognitive behavioral therapy, and neuro-linguistic programming. These techniques can help you to become more aware of your thoughts and patterns of thinking, so that you can start to challenge and reframe them in a more positive light. When you start to understand how your brain works, you can start to see that you are not at the mercy of your thoughts. You can choose which thoughts to focus on and which to ignore, and this can make a world of difference in how you feel and how you behave. Do you find this information helpful so far? Let us know in the comments below. We appreciate your feedback. Now let's move on to the next point. Number 2, recognize your negative thoughts. Now that you understand how your brain works, the next step is to start paying attention to your thoughts. You might be surprised at how many negative thoughts you have. Once you start paying attention to them, you'll begin to notice patterns in your thinking. Maybe you have a lot of thoughts about failure or inadequacy, or maybe you worry constantly about what other people think of you. Whatever your negative thoughts may be, it's important to recognize them. This is the first step to breaking the cycle. You can't change your thinking if you're not aware of it. There are a few ways to become more aware of your negative thoughts. One way is to keep a thought journal. This is where you write down every negative thought that pops into your head throughout the day. At first, you may not think that there are that many negative thoughts floating around in your head. But after keeping a thought journal for just a few days, you will start to see a pattern emerge. You will start to see just how many negative thoughts you have on a daily basis. Another way to become more aware of your negative thoughts is to pay attention to your body language. Our body language often betrays us, even when we try to hide it. If you're feeling negative, your body language will likely reflect that. For example, if you're slouched over in your seat, that could be a sign that you're feeling defeated or discouraged. If you're constantly wringing your hands, that could be a sign of anxiety or worry. By paying attention to your body language, you can start to tune into your negative thoughts. And the more aware you are of your negative thoughts, the easier it will be to change them. No. 3. Challenge your negative thoughts. Now that you're aware of your negative thoughts, it's time to start challenging them. Not all of your negative thoughts are true, and many of them are based on faulty reasoning or inaccurate assumptions. For example, let's say that you're worried about what other people think of you. You might think something like, "Everyone thinks I am stupid." But is that really true? Or maybe you're worried that you're not successful enough. You might think, "I'm a failure." Again, is that really true? In most cases, the answer is no. Your negative thoughts are not true. They're just thoughts, opinions that have no real basis in reality. Once you realize this, you can start to challenge them. Ask yourself questions like, is this thought really true? What evidence do I have to support it? What would happen if I believed this thought? By asking these questions, you will start to see that many of your negative thoughts are not helpful and they read definitely not true. You might also start to realize that some of your negative thoughts are actually positive in disguise. For example, the thought "I am not good enough" might actually be a call to action to improve your skills. Instead of seeing it as a negative thought, you can reframe it as a motivation to take positive action. Reframing negative thoughts is a powerful tool for changing your thinking. It's not about denying that negative thoughts exist. They do. It's about choosing not to believe in them. It's about choosing to focus on the positive instead of the negative. When you start to challenge and reframe your negative thoughts, you'll start to feel better about yourself and your life. You'll be more positive and optimistic, and you'll be better able to cope with the challenges that come your way. And finally, 4. Practice self-compassion. We all have negative thoughts from time to time. It's just a part of being human. However, the way you respond to those thoughts makes all the difference. One way to respond is with self-compassion. Self-compassion is a relatively new concept in psychology, but it's quickly gaining popularity because of the many benefits it offers. Self-compassion is simply treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when you're going through a tough time. When you practice self-compassion, you give yourself permission to make mistakes, to be imperfect. You understand that everyone struggles sometimes and that it's okay not to be okay. Self-compassion is not self-pity. It's not feeling sorry for yourself. Self-pity is a self-destructive mindset. Compassion is a self-protective mindset. When you feel compassion for yourself, you're more likely to forgive yourself for your mistakes. You're more likely to bounce back from setbacks, and you're more likely to believe in yourself again. Self-compassion is a powerful antidote to negative thinking. When you practice self-compassion, you're less likely to judge yourself harshly. You're more likely to see yourself with understanding and kindness, and that makes all the difference. There are many ways to practice self-compassion. One way is to treat yourself like a friend. Think about how you would treat a friend who was going through a tough time. Would you be kind and compassionate? Or would you judge them and criticize them? Chances are you would be kind and compassionate. So treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion. Another way to practice self-compassion is to focus on your strengths. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Everyone makes mistakes. So focus on your strengths and forgive yourself for your weaknesses. Finally, set realistic expectations for yourself. Don't expect perfection from yourself. Expect that you will make mistakes. That's part of being human. When you practice self-compassion, you free yourself from the burden of negative thoughts. You allow yourself to be imperfect, and you give yourself permission to make mistakes. And that's a wonderful feeling. If you've made it this far, we sincerely appreciate your support. Please don't forget to show your support. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And remember, you are amazing. Keep going.